I'm joined now by General Manager of Entelect, Timothy Kroon. Timothy, thank you very much for joining us here on Late Night Talk with Aubrey. Much appreciated.
Aubrey, it's my pleasure. I'd say good evening, but I think we're both still waiting for the temperature and the rand to come down.
Hey, you guys. Of course, you are listening to the discussion I had with the MEC.
Yes.
And of course, you have said that one of the challenges that we are going to be facing is that we're going to have many of these students that have passed, and it's great news, but where to for them after they've passed, which is another reality that you and I are going to be talking about. But Entelect, your company, has got some innovative or some interesting initiatives that it's putting in place. Tell us a little bit about that, Timothy.
Sure. So I guess to kind of get to that, we need to frame the problem that we've kind of been encountering in the industry. Yeah. And I don't think just us, a lot of our peers as well. The problem here is that ICT in South Africa in general, there's a lot of companies fishing in a very, very small pond when it comes to skills. And the nature of ICT and the function of it in business has changed to the point where it's no longer just a nice to have for the big corporates. It's almost every single business has a critical function that relies on ICT. So you've almost got a situation where you've got the small pond and everyone has started eating fish, and it's become a problem. With a severe shortage of these kinds of skills. So we're looking at this problem, and where to from here for us as a country, as a company, how do we solve this problem? And the reality is a lot of our peers have started looking offshore for these skills because they've just purely had to. So you've got destinations like India and the Philippines, Eastern Europe, becoming very, very popular for these types of skills. Mm. I mean, the big one on that is companies usually, part the cost of it, but the reality is the scale is a big problem as well. If you need ICT skills en masse, South Africa is just not a realistic option. We don't have the weight, we don't have the number of people in the industry to support that. So that's part of the challenge as well. Yeah. So what we're kind of looking to do, I mean, obviously this is a very deep problem. I mean, we've heard the MEC, there's challenges in basic education, there's challenges in tertiary education, and ICT is one of those industries where it's heavily reliant on graduates coming out of the Bachelor of Science and the Bachelor of Engineering programs. And obviously to get guys into those programs, we need to make sure that they're getting through matric. So, I mean, we obviously have a limited ability to impact this, but what we have been doing in our space is, number one, looking at the kind of the primary school and up to matric. We've set up a coaching program. So we've got, let's say, 320-odd software engineers working at Entelect Software. And these individuals will pair up with school learners through what we call our Entelect Foundation. And they provide not only life coaching, but actual training and skills and support in the education curriculum, specifically in maths and science, because that's where the real pain point is for us here. It's maths and science, but that's the barrier to getting into these university programs. So we spent a fair amount of time coaching these individuals. We had one learner who went from a 17% fail this year, and she passed with matric exemption this year, which was a fantastic success.
So let me understand, Timothy. So what you guys have done, as you say, in your space, is that you've come up with a program where learners coming out of matric are then mentored. It is, if I understand it correctly, a learnership program where you teach the skills required, I suppose, at that fundamental level in the ICT sector to students to matriculants and perhaps students who are looking to get into that space. Would that be correct?
That is correct. So there's two distinct parts of that. There's the schoolgoers themselves, so preparing for university. We play quite a good role in that as well in terms of preparing them in maths and sciences. And then, of course, when they're in university and they graduate, then there's another skills gap here. So you find these guys come out of university and they don't have the skills to get the job. It's that age-old problem of, do you have experience? No, you need experience to get the job, and you need the job to get experience. So the way we've kind of solved that problem is with kind of what you just mentioned. It's a combination of a learnership program and a job. So we hire these graduates on, and they go through a kind of 6.5-week intensive training program specifically geared at the problems in ICT in South Africa, specifically software development, because that's what our niche is. So these individuals will come out of university, they'll go into this intensive program, and the idea is that they're prepared for the workplace. They can move into a job, and they're immediately functioning at or close to the level of someone who's been in that workspace already for 6 to 12 months.
I find, Timothy, that there is a serious gap between the producers or the educating system, in other words, the education system of South Africa, perhaps let's call it the basic education department of South Africa, and job providers, people in the private sector, that the kinds of skills, the kinds of individuals required by the real job market are not being trained, taught at the level of basic education. Would you agree with that assessment? And what is being done? Are you guys perhaps speaking to the department at that level?
Aubrey, you're 100% correct in that. I was wanting to find an opportunity to raise that point, and I completely agree. I don't think it's spoken about enough. Industry and government we don't speak. Funny enough, we hold fairly strong relationships with tertiary institutions, and they're very open to hearing and flexing their programs to accommodate what we actually need in the industry. But conversely, I'm not confident that the same conversations are happening between the tertiary institutions and the basic education institutions. And it's certainly not happening between industry and basic education. It's a huge gap, and it's a real problem. And we as a company are not engaging with public sector, and we as an industry need to do more of that. Yep. Absolutely. We need to get that point across.
Yeah. So tell me about the practical processes that you follow. So somebody who's just received their matric pass mark yesterday is listening to you and I speaking. They're very interested in what you've got to say. What do they need to do to be part of the program that you guys have?
I think first step is to visit our website, which is entelect.co.za with an E. And there they can read up a bit about the foundation, the type of students that we take on, and the conditions. Obviously, we're limited in what we can do due to the size of the company and the constraints on our resources. So based on, the criteria and their interest in the industry, we'll potentially screen and take on those candidates. And we'll help them through the university studies as well, either in sciences or in engineering, and then provide them with a path to the workplace as well thereafter. But all of that is kind of encompassed in the material on the website. So I'd encourage anyone who is interested in computer software development, ICT, engineering, electronics, to get in touch, and we can at least start that conversation, because the idea is not for us to eventually recruit these individuals. It's for us to help improve the level of math and science literacy and uplift the industry at that basic level. That's what we're interested in.
What are the criteria for them being accepted into your program? Are they going to get paid while they're part of that program?
So the graduate program that we offer is a full-time position. That's you get hired and you move into the graduate program before you get placed on projects. So that's a full-time position, just like any other position. The foundation, where we go through the coaching, that's based on it's a personality thing. If we see potential in this individual, if they're struggling financially, socially, or there's math and science interest or an interest in their career that they're not perhaps getting the attention at school or at home, and they immediately become a candidate for us to look at.
All right, let's quickly take a call from Eugene and Athlone. Eugene, hi.
Hi, Ob.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, man. Good. Okay, I love IDC. I think IDC is limited in our context today.
Yeah.
As you're saying now about production techniques. For example, that 20, 30 years ago, we were looking at teletext. Then it was effects. Then it was computers, blah, blah, blah. What I'm saying now is, what about physical techniques, bricklayers, plasters, plumbers, etc.? I think we should not limit our capacity of our children, our matrix, just into ITC, lawyers, doctors.
Yeah. No, I think we get your point, Eugene. I'm pushing you because we've run out of time. Eugene and Athlone. I would agree with Eugene, Timothy, that we need to broaden the spectrum of the number of careers that are out there. But of course, we're talking about the ICT. Somebody says to me, please explain what the ICT is, the ICT sector is.
Yeah, so the ICT sector, it stands for Information Communications Technology. It's basically anything related to technology and communications in the country. So, I mean, it largely encompasses information technology. What we mean by that is computer software systems that support business, infrastructure, computers, even mobile networks falls into that category. I mean, this is a 200 billion rand industry in this country. It's not small. And what we're seeing at the moment is a large portion of that industry is going offshore because we simply don't have the skills internally.
Timothy, because we've run out of time, I really would like for you to give us those contact details once more, and I'm hoping that we can speak again sometime soon to find out how the program is progressing. If you could give us those contact details again.
Sure. Candidates welcome to visit www.entelect.co.za. There should be some details on the website there about the foundation and the graduate program. So if you're a university leaving graduate and you're interested in computer software or ICT, you can apply through the graduate program. If you are a student at school level in basic education and you're looking for some assistance with maths and science and to get involved in the foundation, drop us an email on the contact details on that website and we'll get in touch.
And the spelling for Entelect is not intellect, it's Entelect, right?
That's correct, yeah.
All right. Timothy Kroon, thank you very much for joining us here on Late Night Talk. Much appreciated.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Aubrey.
Timothy Kroon is General Manager at Entelect. Please get in touch with him. I'm sure that perhaps there might be some value there for you. Let's take a break. When we come back, Eyewitness News.